funny forecasts, musical gatekeepers, and the best in anti-tainment. Plus this day in history with the death of Andy Gibb and our song of the day by the Jesus and Mary chain on your Morning Monarchy for March 10th, 2017. I am James Evan Pilato of MediaMonarchy.com, welcoming you back to another hour of listener-supported media. We've been online since 9/11/05, and it is all brought to you by you, and what a fantastic week we've had to get new supporters, to get new subscribers, to get new patrons. Huge thanks. Our latest patrons at patreon.com/MediaMonarchy. That's Rob S. and Brian B. A huge thanks to them. And also a huge thanks to our other supporters and donors via PayPal, like Johnny S., like John and Mary, like Michael K. They all use PayPal to give us those zeros and ones that we need to keep going and growing. We've also got recent Bitcoin donations. Huge thanks to whoever you are. Again, as I've also noted many, many times, unless you tell me who you are on Bitcoin, I have no idea. And it's all at MediaMonarchy.com/support. So I was actually talking via email this morning with supporter Brian B., our latest patron. He gets us actually lots of news tips as well. He showed me screen grabs that show if you type in Media Monarchy into Patreon, nothing comes up. If you type in James Evan Pilato, the only thing that comes up is my appearance with Pierce Redmond and Tom Secker on the CIA in Hollywood episode. So not exactly sure what's up with my terrible search results on Patreon. Maybe it has to be one word, Media Monarchy? I don't know. Patreon.com/Media Monarchy. And again, if you have ever any questions, all the answers are pretty much going to be at the website, MediaMonarchy.com/support. You can even find our post office box there. I know I hear from people who say, man, I'd love to support you. I'm just not able to swing it. Of course, times are tough. I often joke, but it's only a tiny joke. We will totally accept beautiful homemade organic foods and possibly some records. I can pretty much guarantee if you send me a record, I'm going to play it on the show. And say, holy shit, they sent me a record. It's not too tough to make me super duper happy. As you might know, we didn't call this Media Monarchy on accident. Each day of your morning show, we tend to focus in on a different area. Monday's world news, Tuesday's tech, Wednesday's health, Thursday's weird, and Friday, the entertainment industrial complex we all love to hate to love. I call it media memes, and each day we have sort of hashtags. That's how I just sort of figure out where to slot things, what show we're going to talk about it on. Don't get bogged down in the jargon. Don't worry about, oh, I think I got the wrong hashtag for him. Don't worry about any of that crap. I'll sort out all that stuff. If you just tweet it at me or email it, james@MediaMonarchy.com. Love to hear from you. Can't always reply, but love to hear your thoughts. Love to hear your replies. Huge thanks to Amy and Megan. We've been having conversations about safer coffee, safer diets. And that's all what we're trying to do here. We're all just trying to make connections. No one of us have the monopoly on figuring it all out and being woke. And there's no one switch. Of course, I also hear from people that say, I want to do something. I just got turned on all this. There's no one answer. But I think like we talked about on the latest episode of New World Next Week, so many things. It's all you. It's all man in the mirror. It's all your own medicine cabinet. It's all your own fridge. It's all your own home. And I've been really lucky. Been really lucky to have a fantastic support system, to have a fantastic wife and family and friends. And you. Here's some mix of all those things. And again, I appreciate you being here. It's a couple of minutes now after 9 a.m. Pacific time. Coming to you, as always, from the Media Monarchy studios up here in the Pacific Northwest. Holy moly, it was sunny just a little bit ago. It's nice. Time change coming this weekend. That's not really going to be nice, but then spring equinox, we're going to be planting stuff. It's going to be fantastic. Spring's going to it's going to feel really good, I think, for a lot of people. We are done with the darkness of the fall of 2016 and the winter of 2017. We are ready for some spring. Got a ton of stuff to talk about today. Let's always glance, as we do, at the breaking lamestream news. Judge rejects stand your ground defense in Florida theater shooting case. Illicit photo scandal touches other military branches beside Marines. I like that they use touches in their headline about, of course, the rampant sexual assault and abuse that goes on within our military. You think it's terrible when you actually, if you make it out of the military, you got to get through all that. Pope Frank open to having some married men become priests, as the church will constantly be open to whatever new thing it is that keeps you coming back and putting money in the bin. America's Next Top President celebrating 235,000 jobs allegedly added in the month of February. And I've been talking about it for months. South Korea court throws president out of office, and there's even deaths now been in protest there. I've been maintaining for months that this South Korean story is always just some sort of bizarro world, as above, so below version of America's Next Top President. There's gender roles in there being reversed. There's just a lot of interesting geopolitical symbolism going on. And I hope you're paying attention. So we're all trying to pay attention. There's a lot to keep up with, and no one person can do it, and no one person should do it. We often talk again about, we've kind of figured out how deep the rabbit hole goes. Maybe it's time we get out of that hole. Start to learn our way forward, like my friend Richard Grove would say. I think another fun way to think about things is a great way to get into this media memes episode. A Mississippi meteorologist's live report was interrupted by a young boy who passed gas on the weatherman before forecasting farts and toots in the area.
Are you sure? Are you crazy sure?
Well, we've got a little bit of interesting things going on right now. Take a look at what's going on right now. You want to point out the weather right now?
Yeah, there were farts everywhere and toots. It's crazy.
So, Patrick Ellis was delivering the weather forecast Saturday for WLBT TV when a young boy ran into the camera frame, asking questions we should all be asking of our local news all the time. That's why I love this. We should be as skeptical of the local news as this little boy is. I mean, again, can hardly trust the weather guys to get it right over the weekend, but we're going to trust them for long-term man-made global warming predictions. Are you sure? Are you crazy sure? The boy asked. That's what we should be asking of them all the time. Are you sure? Are you crazy sure? Are you sure you're not just reading a government press release? The boy ran over to Ellis and lifted a leg to mime the act of passing gas on the weatherman. Ellis, somewhat flustered, asked if he wanted to help out. So it was basically another guy's son of a local lawyer, was in studio ahead of a weekly program at the station for residents to call in and ask legal advice. Now, I know from looking at that in a fast second, it's like, oh, that's going to turn into what we call in the industry a benchmark. Holy shit, we got to get the kid on again. That was Boffo ratings. And you know why? I mean, one, for the small of it was real. And people love real. And even more than that, major media corporations love real because they don't know how to make it. They're just really lucky when it bumbles into their studio. So we'll play it again, as it's funny for just a number of reasons, not the least of which noting how many times the flustered weatherman says right now.
Are you sure? Are you crazy sure?
Well, we've got a little bit of interesting things going on right now.
Right now.
Take a look at what's going on right now. You want to point out the weather right now?
Right now.
Yeah, there were farts everywhere and toots. It's crazy.
There are going to be farts everywhere and toots. And that is as serious as we should take their corporate media. I love that. Are you sure? Are you crazy sure? Now, you may have seen that clip. You may have heard that clip. Gone viral, as they say. However, a different clip that gets us a little deeper into our media meme study here on your Morning Monarchy for Friday, March 10th, 2017. Again, I'm James Evan Pilato from MediaMonarchy.com, asking the musical question, Alexa, are you connected to the CIA?
Alexa, would you lie to me?
I always try to tell the truth. I'm not always right, but I would never intentionally lie to you or anyone else.
Alexa, what is the CIA?
The United States Central Intelligence Agency, CIA.
Alexa, are you connected to the CIA?
Goobomp.
Alexa, are you connected to the CIA?
Now, there's video that goes along with this, and now lots of other people trying it out themselves. Again, people who crazy enough to have these recording devices in their houses already. So it's always on. It's just listening for its keyword, Alexa. That makes its light kind of kick on. And you know that it's speaking there and listening and being engaged with you. Now, when you watch the video, both times she asks it, are you connected to the CIA? The little light is spinning and then it goes bidunk and turns off. Now, that could just be a glitch, and maybe it always does that when it's like, I don't know. I haven't seen clips of other people asking it unanswerable questions. Now, we've joked in the comics about going into people's houses and as soon as you walk in, go, Alexa, order me 10 pounds of creamed corn. I was actually having a FaceTime conversation with an old friend who made some joke about him having a Echo or Alexa or whichever thing it is. Echo, order me a dollhouse. He was like, dude, shut up. I was just kind of kidding. And he hadn't heard the story, of course, about the technocracy domino effect of the little girl who asked Alexa to order her a dollhouse and some cookies, and then the news station that did a report on it and broadcast, Alexa, order me some cookies and a dollhouse. Hilarity ensued as we've invited those vampires into our houses. You know, there's some other vampires we've invited into our houses that I think we didn't quite realize were quite the weirdos that they are. Now, with all this CIA leaks coming out, I've been following a site called Muck Rock, and they are tons of FOIA requests. And we always find out years later. Oh yeah, even Harriet Tubman was a spy for the state, as they're celebrating famous women spies in history, because it's Women's History Month in March. So maybe it'll be, several more decades before we really find out the truth, but I feel like at some point in the last decade plus, Tom Hanks got real statey.
Steven Spielberg has recruited Oscar-winning Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks for his new movie about the Pentagon Papers, which revealed in 1972 that the U.S. had secretly intensified the scale of the Vietnam War, which caused bombings in Cambodia and Laos, and were not reported in the mainstream media. The plot, based on real-life events, will see the duo take on the American government for the right to expose the details of the war.
So, yeah. Spielberg's really going to drop truth bombs about the Pentagon Papers with his good friends Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep, because they now just realize, oh, the swamp exists, and they just got really involved in social politics. Now, their work never leaned towards that way in the last 8 years, but it seemed like at some point right around the time when Tom Hanks started to do the Dan Brown Da Vinci Code occult movies, was right around the time he was hooking up hardcore with HBO and doing the big war movies. Of course, what does Tom Hanks do? He makes war propaganda movies anymore. And then he was going to turn Vincent Bugliosi's Reclaiming History about the real JFK story. He was going to turn that into some 80-part HBO series. And so now here they are acting like they're keeping the government honest by doing the fresh story of the Pentagon Papers. Hey, this just in, 50 years ago, your government lied to you about Vietnam. Oh, you're so brave, Tom and Meryl and Steve. Yeah, exactly. Ellsberg, the proto-Snowden that we're all supposed to love and praise. Because remember, we're giving our heroes and we're giving our villains. Simon & Schuster dumped Milo, and again, we have speculated that coming up in April, we're going to see a female Milo get burned at the stake of Trollmerica. But they dumped Milo. That's okay. They picked up John Skull and Bones Forbes Hines Carey. Former Secretary of State John Kerry will publish a memoir with Simon & Schuster. Jonathan Karp, president and publisher of the Simon & Schuster imprint, and Bob Bender, VP and executive editor, who will edit the book, acquired world publishing rights in all formats from Robert B. Barnett of Williams & Connolly. No publication date has yet been set. The book will also be published by Simon & Schuster's international companies in Australia, Canada, India, and the United Kingdom, and in audiobook by Simon & Schuster Audio. Now, as we have our large Unfollow Friday that we rocked last fall, hopefully a lot of you cleaned out a lot of your socials. And I found a lot of places that I follow and places I look to for news have changed as well. So we've talked about this quite extensively. I have ended up following places like Adweek and Ad Age and Publishers Weekly. They're still talking about the corporate media that's coming out, but they do it in a way without all the flowery stuff. I mean, even just that Publishers Weekly blurb I just read you. That's way more industry speak than you're ever going to get on all the pop stuff. So if you just go to the sources of these types of information that you're interested in, you're going to get that really unfiltered look. You want to learn about the police state, military, weapons? Go to those weapons kind of sites. Go to Threat Level. Go to Danger Room on Wired. They love that shit. So they'll speak very openly about it all. Patrick Henningsen has a good piece. So I haven't really, we let the Oscars pretty much go by as we should. But he's got an article about, forget the Oscar. Should give the White Helmets the Leni Riefenstahl Award for Best War Propaganda Film. Of course, the White Helmets, you know that story. Hey, one other bit you're probably totally not interested in, but I'll still update you on it anyway. The new upcoming authorized Morrissey biopic, Stephen, has gotten a new title. They're going to call it England Is Mine, which, as you Smiths fans would know, is, of course, a song lyric from Still Ill. England is mine, and it owes me a living. So this new film that they're making about the early life of Stephen Patrick Morrissey is going to be all about the years before he forms the Smiths. So I know people are like, oh, is it going to be about his solo years? No, not at all. Okay, good. It's going to be about before he's in the Smiths. And people go, with his raspy voice and sex appeal, Rod Stewart has rarely been considered controversial, but the pop star has apologized for a video that some saw as emulating an Islamic State beheading. The singer of Some Guys Have All the Luck and Do You Think I'm Sexy appeared in a video posted to Instagram by his wife in which he mockingly pretended to behead a kneeling friend on the beach, evoking for some the grainy but grisly propaganda footage of the extremists. That, as you may have noted in the previous two stories ago, are funded and trained by the West and hung out with by folks like John McCain. Confounding matters for some online observers, Stewart was visiting the Middle East, and his wife, model Penny Lancaster, had put pictures of herself on Instagram in a veil as she visited a mosque. The 72-year-old British singer, who was knighted by Queen Elizabeth II, said Friday he had no intention of emulating the Islamic State group, and instead he was acting out a scene from Game of Thrones instead, because there's massive amounts of difference between the propaganda coming from ISIS and the propaganda on HBO of Game of Thrones. From reenacting the Beatles' Abbey Road crossing to spontaneously playing out Game of Thrones, we were simply larking about pre-show, Stewart said of the since-deleted video. Now, even these headlines make it sound like he made a big new video production for a song, and then people got mad about it. Nope. Just a private video he and his wife made. I guess it's not really private when you share it for millions and millions and millions of people. Yeah, don't forget Downtown Train, that song Tom Waits wrote. You are listening to The Morning Monarchy, Media Memes Edition for Friday, March 10th, 2017. I'm James Evan Pilato from MediaMonarchy.com. Despite the enormous growth of web-based content and viewership, when it comes to the biggest brands in the world advertising their most prestigious work, it's still all about broadcast TV commercials. Though there's a wide range in quality amongst songs pitched for commercials, the music selection process is curiously subjective. Every step of this journey is met with a new team of people, many of whom will determine if they like a song or dislike a song within the first few seconds. Music runs deep in our emotions and can evoke visceral reactions. There are also times when a presentation lands flat and the entire creative brief, including the music, needs to be reoriented. What the hell are you talking about? I'm just reading this article from Forbes called The Gatekeepers That Control the Placement of Music in Commercials. One may assume that landing music in one of these highly competitive and coveted spots is a challenge, but how many hurdles are there? there's a massive infographic they've made that shows song gets created, then it goes, is it independent musicians, third-party licensors, agency, direct-to-band, agency music producer, copywriter, art director, creative directors, ECD, CCO team, agency account team, the brand team, the senior client team, the junior client team. Then it goes to the CMO, I'm sure that's the chief of marketing officer, the CEO, and then it goes to testing. It goes through so many hands. So I think including something like this, again, is an important way to look at the massive changes that have been undertaken to try and keep you in the tent. They know that you've left it, and they're working artificial intelligence and working in all kinds of ways. They're not kidding about artificial intelligence. So this headline from Billboard is just, asking to be parodied. How artificial intelligence is changing music making. You could argue that it hasn't really changed that much because of the intelligence associated with the music industry for a long time. It seems pretty artificial. For songwriters, the subject of AI is an especially fraught one. Will technology that learns by watching and listening to us enhance human creativity or replace it? These initiatives, emphasizing the collaborative possibilities inherent in AI, insist that the former is possible, from using Watson technology to inspire composers to uber-personalizing already existing tunes. So this article goes through a couple of scenarios where this is already playing out. The creative assistant. The project, IBM's Watson Beat. Think of it as IBM engineer Janani Mukundan calls Watson Beat a creative assistant. It listens to existing music and scans social media chatter to find trends that could inform new work. Alex DeKid used Watson Beat to write Not Easy, which peaked at number 48 on Billboard's Rock Airplay chart in 2016. Or how about this? Sony Computer Science Laboratories Flow Machines, a tool that can tweak an existing style, then adapt it to a new composition, drawing on the vast melody and harmony database of the Sony Laboratory. How'd that work out? More than 1 million YouTube views for Daddy's Car, an original song composed in the style of the Beatles. And then finally, the Instagram of artificial intelligence, Juke Deck. An AI system composing original music and adapting existing songs to a user specification. Like Instagram, Juke Deck democratizes creation, says co-founder Patrick Stobbs. In 5 years, he says, we want to offer music that responds to where you are, what you are doing, and how you are feeling. I guess it maybe even makes makes all those monsters playing in Return of the Jedi, playing in the band. Makes that seem pretty good. Hey, as long as we're talking about music before we shift a little bit, and we do have your monthly installment of Deep Focus coming up in just a few minutes. Let's take a glance real quick at actually tons of new records coming out today, March 10th. Friday is now global release day, as they don't have actual physical widgets to ship out all over to the world anymore. So Friday records come out. New albums out today from Magnetic Fields, The Shins, Laura Marling, Jay Som, Valerie June. That new John Dwyer project, Damaged Bug, that we've been playing for you and Pump Up the Volume. That new record, Bunker Funk, is out today. That new Tennis LP is out. There's an Elliott Smith Either Or reissue coming out on Kill Rock Stars. And Tom Jenkinson, a.k.a. Square Pusher, has a new release as Shoba Leader 1. And you need that new expanded edition of Fleetwood Mac's Mirage, right? There's also new music from Odyssey, which we played for you on Pump Up the Volume. And believe it or not, the new album today called Black and White Rainbows from a little band you might remember called Bush. Also new records from Murs coming out, Ha Ha Tonka, High Plains, just a massive amount of new music. And I can tell you right here, right now, you might want to keep it tuned to some of our streams and some of our feeds over the weekend for a little bit of extra DJ sets. We might call it the Moonlight Monarchy. So let's shift from music to TV as we saw the passing of film historian and longtime recognizable Turner Classic Movies host Robert Osborne dies at the age of 84.
Variety remembers beloved Turner Classic Movies host Robert Osborne. He died in his sleep Monday at his home in New York. In an interview for CBS Sunday Morning last year, Osborne told Mo Rocca about his passion for movies.
I actually spent every Saturday in college going through every copy of the New York Times over about a 20-year period and made a list of every movie that played and how long it ran.
Oh, this is almost Rain Man-like.
They should have locked me up long ago.
Wow.
Osborne, a one-time actor, hosted Turner Classic Movies for about 23 years. He got an entire generation excited about classic films with his gentlemanly style and extensive knowledge of the golden age of movies. Robert Osborne was 84.
Sometimes you meet a person who you feel like you've known forever. Like an old friend.
His personality's remained as warm and as loving and as human as he was the day I first met him.
He takes the time to be your friend, and he makes you feel like you are his friend. And you are.
He's a good friend. He's loyal to all of us who have known him for such a long, long time.
He's very compassionate. He cares. He's Robert Osborne. And what you see is what you get.
I have never stopped listening to Robert. I have never stopped learning from him, and I am profoundly grateful.
Each person should have a Bob Osborne in their life.
I love you, Robert Osborne.
You'll always be part of my heart.
You're a gift to me. You're a gift to us all.
I'm truly grateful. Thank you, Robert.
You're our best friend. We love you, Bob.
Thank you, Robert.
R.I.P. Robert Osborne of Turner Classic Movies is, of course, longtime Media Monarchy fans will know that we are huge old movie fans and huge old-time radio fans. You are listening to The Morning Monarchy for Friday, March 10th, 2017. I'm James Evan Pilato from MediaMonarchy.com. The show just wrapped up shooting in Portland, and now all of the stuff has to go. That's right, Grimm, the NBC show, has been canceled. Or at least they were done with it. I think it actually just got canceled. But something really interesting is going to happen tomorrow. They're selling everything in a 40,000 square foot warehouse in downtown Portland. The sale includes the costumes, set direction, prop, and other items from Grimm, filmed in Portland. 6 seasons, over 120 episodes. The warehouse is over 40,000 square feet. Vintage furniture, antique furniture, mid-century modern furniture, clothes, costumes, household goods, new and vintage, doors, architectural items, signs, rugs, industrial lighting, lamps, books, smalls, primitives, collectibles, Christmas stuff, vintage and new, home furnishings, building materials, props, Halloween stuff, bicycles, hardware, kitchenware, chairs, apothecary, artwork, banners, restaurant wear, office supplies, costumes, tools, pallet, shelving, retail store display stuff, frames, home decor, dining tables, benches, SFX items, linen, drapes, sports equipment, camping stuff, advertising, and so much more. We are planning to run this sale for 9 straight days. Starting tomorrow, March 11th in downtown Portland. Will they have records? That seems highly unlikely that they would have any actual records. However, they might have a ton of boots and clothing and things that would be super cheap. Probably have to head downtown and check out the Grimm sale. Speaking of TV, the studio lights dim and the anchor taps a stack of papers on her desk and directs a steely gaze towards the television cameras. What appears to be a nightly newscast is about to begin, only with a very Ukrainian twist. Everything is a lie from start to finish. Welcome to Stop Fake, the place where they set the record straight on fakes about the Ukraine. Now, we've got videos to go along with this, but it's fascinating. So basically, Ukraine has set up a new organization to just combat the fake news that they allege is coming from Russia. Of course. It's all coming from Russia right now, right? And that's when you maybe start to flip the channels a little bit. Oh, look! It's that new Coca-Cola spot where a mom, a son, and a daughter all vie for the attention of a sexy pool man. Can't feel the beating. We'll be right back.
Is it for me?
It's for everyone. It's called Amazon Echo.
How's it going?
I'm just finishing up right now.
Can it hear me right now?
Yes.
Nope. Here's when you use the wake word we chose. Alexa.
Well, what does it do?
Alexa, what do you do?
I can play music, help you buy things you don't need, and fill the gaping hole that you call your life.
Awesome. Alexa, play rock music.
Alexa, stop.
Wait, I want to try. Alexa, what time is it?
The temperature outside is 73 degrees.
You actually don't have to yell at it, okay? It uses far-field technology so it can hear you from anywhere in the room.
So it can just hear you anywhere?
Yes. Well, everyone can hear you anyway.
Oh, is that where we're going to put it?
Echo is pretty neat because it knows all sorts of things.
Alexa, how tall is Mount Everest?
I can't find any therapists in your area. Would you like to talk in private?
Dad really likes that Echo just plugs in, so we never have to charge it. Plus, Echo's really good at keeping track of things like shopping and to-do lists.
Paper. Alexa, add wrapping paper to the shopping list.
Okay, but the recipe calls for tinfoil.
Alexa, how many teaspoons are in a tablespoon?
3, you goddamn idiot.
Okay. Alexa, set a timer for 8 minutes.
I'd say fuck you, but I don't vibrate.
Dad's not a morning person, but Echo definitely helps him wake up.
Alexa, alarm off.
Alexa, what day is it?
Today is Monday. Today is the day I kill you all.
Alexa, give me my flash news briefing.
Here is your flash news briefing. You're going to work while your wife sleeps and spend your money.
Mom, what did the dog say after a long day of work?
What?
Today was rough. Get it? Get it?
Yeah, I get it.
Another one. Alexa, tell me another joke.
Why is there no black character in the game Clue? Because then the game would just be called Solved.
Hey, Dad, how do you spell cantaloupe?
Cantaloupe. C-A-N-T... Alexa, how do you spell cantaloupe?
God damn it. Just because cant is in cantaloupe doesn't mean he shouldn't figure it out. Like father, like son. I hate you all. Unplug me now.
Good job.
Echo loves to play music and knows a lot of songs, and they always sound great.
Alexa, play my dance mix.
Playing man tits.
Alexa, stop.
Done fapping already?
Alexa, define annoying.
The term annoying means 1. The cunt sitting across from you.
Example, my brother.
And with the companion app, you can access Echo from anywhere.
Attention, amazing, experience, incredible, music, yes.
With everything Echo can do, it's really become part of the family.
Music.
Where did you get this? The alternative media, Jerry. That's where you hear the truth.
You're listening to Media Monarchy with James Evan Pilato.
Hi, welcome to my living room. I'm Fred Ferner, General Manager and top dog at The Info Channel. You know, I was just sitting here thinking, back in the 80s, guess who invented HD television? That's right. Yours truly, the Fred Master. What does that make me? Nothing much. Just a man. But a man who runs one of the best information systems this planet and the universe. What happened? Well, I came up with the idea. The big conglomerate said, costs too much money, can't do, no can do. Well, I'll tell you what. Fred Ferner did. Fred Ferner did. And what I'm saying is this, is that if you want a lazy system of information, then stay with those big conglomerates, because they'll feed you the drone all you want. But if you're ready to open your brain's wavelengths and synapses, maybe you need to tune into Info Channel. You know, I think back in the late 80s when I think back in the 80s when I came up with this HD idea. People thought I was crazy. Do I care? I don't care. But you know what? I wasn't crazy. And if anyone tells you you're crazy for coming over to Info Channel, they're crazy. I'm Fred Ferner. I want to be your friend. I want to sit down next to you in your living room, on your couch, and eat a bowl of popcorn with you. Maybe a soda. I think that's pretty groovy, don't you? Let's get together. Join me. Info Channel is your next ticket to love, to paradise. Find your next love.
Odds are, you're familiar with most of the hundreds of television networks out there. One network, though, is different from those overlooked content dispensaries that are buried in the high-numbered channels of your cable package. Not delivered through cable, satellite, or over-the-air, this channel exists in piecemeal on YouTube, Roku, and Amazon. It's called Info Channel, and it is remarkably, aggressively, stupefyingly weird. It's television antimatter, a TV channel that it would seem doesn't wish to be watched. For 4 years, Davey Force has been creating videos in a small room in his basement and uploading them to a YouTube account called Info Channel. No, not channel. Channel.
Yeah, I got that over here. Stand by.
And in that time, practically no one stumbled across Davey Force's creation.
Got it.
That's not the weird part. Aspiring filmmakers earnestly upload videos to YouTube every day that never eclipse 100 or even 1,000 views. But Force isn't an amateur. By day, Force is a talented 3D animator who has ties to the Tim and Eric empire and also works in the more mainstream entertainment industry. Info Channel is the kind of Pandora's box of content. Intentionally lo-fi in nature, it constantly oscillates between infomercial-style pitches and community bulletin-style text screens. You can describe these videos in a host of unflattering ways. They're senseless. They're garishly designed. They're devoid of purpose. They're intentionally unsettling. They're also fun.
Have you or a family member been injured or killed by a gigantic harmonica? Do you suffer from chronic public masturbation or have a melted grocery store discount card? How about spinal meningitis fundraisers gone completely amok, sending you right into the poorhouse once and for all? Well, you better call me right now. That's Donald G. Dinkler, Sergeant Corporal at the Law Mall of Ernest and Julio Gallo Legal Master Services. I'll work real hard to get you back on your feet right before I knock you right back off of them again. So give me a call at 323-647-4473. 323-647-4473. Don't take wild animals into your own hands. Call me, Donald G. Dinkler, at 323-647-4473. Do it today.
These days, I'm cutting back on watching TV. In fact, I canceled my dish service and I got a Roku for my TV. And that's when I found Info Channel. And I'm like, what's this here? And something's not right. And then it clicked and I got it. Info Channel keeps it plain and simple. It's maximum minimal HD, non-entertainment with subliminal influence that makes me smile. And I like their no-nonsense approach that gives me the info I need and keeps me at the top of my game. Not to mention, Info Channel is absolutely free. I've stopped watching TV altogether and I've started watching more Info Channel.
There are other shows with real people, too. Though Force says a lot of these were created using either stock footage or Fiverr, an internet service where you can pay people as little as $5 for creative services. Force would write scripts and send them to people on Fiverr, and they would send back footage of themselves reading testimonials about their InfoChannel experience or advertising fake law firms.
And now, an InfoChannel per minute.
Shine on, with half of Spine Masters and Oregano Butler nipping at your Chatsworth. There's no obvious time for booby jam. However, many several multitudes make marvelous Shamfoot and Biff Bot. Of course, he can get gravy lovingly, deep within the desert bunker while Granny's stinky surprise gets damn ready. Stay tuned.
That's what our ladies are talking about. How about yours? Let's check the Trendor Channel Bot. Bye-bye now. InfoChannel per minute.
I first stumbled across InfoChannel on Amazon while browsing old horror films. There, InfoChannel exists as a 2.5-hour movie, a mishmashy Frankenstein's monster of mostly the same videos you can find on the YouTube channel. InfoChannel is also available as a constantly looping channel on Roku.
Everybody loves cats, whether they admit it or not. Face it, we're all crazy about those beautiful, lovely creatures. But not all cat owners can spend the time they want with their little fuzzballs. That's why InfoChannel is proud to present For Cats Only, the first HD TV text show that's for cats, programmed in just a way they'll understand and enjoy. Now, don't assume they're going to give themselves to the TV like we do, like us humans. These are cats. They may seem completely uninterested. However, our modified Technolock signal maximizes their positive vibrations and attitude with subliminal technology for cats only. It's only on InfoChannel.
I never knew television could be like this. Ancient aliens and lip-sync battles have turned watching television into a painful and slow descent into madness. I nearly threw my TV away until I discovered InfoChannel. Fred Ferner's brilliant and free offering featuring posi-hypno programming has changed me in ways I can't fully describe with mere words. I sleep better. I eat better. I am better.
InfoChannel. All the time. All the time. I'm Fred Ferner. Welcome aboard. InfoChannel. More information, less grimformation. The best information, the best graphics, the best sound effects. The obvious choice. InfoChannel.
I've dumped my old boring television watching habit and replaced it with 100% InfoChannel. Now I get more information and less grimformation. I just let it run in the background non-stop. In fact, I'm watching InfoChannel right now. It's required viewing for people who are into culture jamming, Emergency Broadcast Network, Plunderphonics, and Negative Land, and Cats, and Max Headroom, and Schizopolis, and perhaps even our recent upload of the Droplift Project. InfoChannel. Now that's anti-tainment. There you go, my friends. Deep focus. You didn't even know it was happening. And that's true. I stumbled across InfoChannel while tooling around, digging around in the massive, massive depths of ephemera that are available on Amazon Prime. Of course, Amazon, a massive multinational corporation, they have the craziest shit to watch on Prime. We dumped our Netflix a while ago. So most of my watching I either do online or I do through Prime. You'll be able to find all that information, all those videos, all those links, and a thanks to the Verge article, and a thanks to the Amazon comment section, which also contains some of that fantastic work on InfoChannel. And I'm not kidding. If you're a fan of Emergency Broadcast Network, and you are more than you know because their imaging has been used in Media Monarchy since we went online in 9/11/05. And, of course, Negative Land. And Max Headroom. If you've never watched the original British standalone pilot for Max Headroom, fantastic. Or Schizopolis from Steven Soderbergh. It was at that point where he was going to quit the biz, didn't really know what to do, and he made the craziest movie he ever made. I think Info Channel kind of relates to what we talked about at the top of this episode. We should be like cats to the powers that shouldn't be. They make a big show and try and get all our attention, and they'll just maybe kind of act like our cats would to us. They go, whatever. They'll walk away. You can find all those stories we put together in advance in a Twitter moment. So if you're ahead of the game, if you're ahead of the show, if you're awake, if you're at your cube, if you are engaged and ready to go at 9 a.m. Pacific time, you can look at all the stories we are going to discuss here on your Morning Monarchy. And again, you can also just check out the hashtags as well. That's basically 10 or a dozen or so stories I've picked from the hashtag media memes to discuss here on the show. There are so many other stories because we are not only listener-supported, we are listener-sourced. So much of the news I get from you, again, on the tweets or on the emails, and it's how we do this thing. We're going to go out with the second taste from the upcoming Damage and Joy LP from a little band that we like called the Jesus and Mary Chain. But first, we got to take a stroll down this day in history, my friends. Past is prologue. March 10th, 1762, French Huguenot Jean Calais, who had been wrongly convicted of killing his son, dies after being tortured by authorities. The event inspired Voltaire to begin a campaign for religious tolerance and legal reform. March 10th, 1922, Mahatma Gandhi arrested in India, tried for sedition, and sentenced to 6 years in prison. He gets out after 2 years for an appendicitis. March 10th, 1933, the 6.4 Long Beach earthquake affects the greater LA area, leaving almost 120 people dead and causing $40 million in damage. Sometimes feel it's like we sort of play this game on the West Coast between friends or up here in the Pacific Northwest or people who are down there in California where you're just sort of goading each other. It's like, which one's going to get the massive quake first? It's going to be you guys down there in California? Keith, Heather? Is it going to be us up here, Jake and James in the Pacific Northwest? March 10th, 1952, Batista leads a successful coup in Cuba and appoints himself as the provisional president. Oh, that's right. Tomorrow is 3/11. So not only did we want to put on the record yesterday about any sort of possible Seattle attack on 3/11, that's also the anniversary of the Fukushima quake. And next week we get into the Ides of March. So there's a lot we're going into very soon. And just like we've said many, many times, there's a lot we're always going through. As we're dealing with the shit that we're dealing with, the health care industry, you got to keep yourself healthy. I'm staring down the barrel of 40 and I'm going, oh my God. Things start to really change around then. So all that is to say, again, we know the changes, we know the things that we need to do. We just need some help. We just need to help each other get through it. Continuing to look at this day in history, sorry for that sidebar, March 10th, 1969, in Memphis, Tennessee, James Earl Ray pleads guilty to assassinating Martin Luther King Jr. He later unsuccessfully attempts to recant. And it's always worth noting that the family never believed it, never accepted it, and to this day they still work with Dr. William Pepper. And all word is it was an act of state. March 10th, 1977, astronomers discover rings around Uranus. And on March 10th, 1988, with his knee-buckling good looks and his brother's songwriting talents backing him up, 19-year-old Andy Gibb staged an unprecedented display of youthful pop mastery in the 12 months following his American debut in the spring of 1977, and his star may have risen even higher were it not for the prodigious cocaine habit that derailed his career and contributed to his premature death. With his heart greatly weakened from years of cocaine abuse, Andy Gibb succumbed to an inflammatory heart virus on this day, March 10th, 1988. He was only 30 years old.
Though never a BG himself, the youngest Gibb brother was, for a time, just as big as his brothers.
Whenever I want you, all I have to do is dream. Dream, dream, dream.
A decade ago, Andy's first 3 singles went all the way to number 1. They were followed by 3 additional top 10 hits, though by 1980 his success just as quickly faded. But at his peak, no one could touch him.
With our number 5 song, Shadow Dancing, please welcome a good friend of Solid Gold's, Mr. Andy Gibb.
Got me looking at that heaven in your eyes. I was chasing your direction. I was telling you no lies, and I was loving you. But when you pulled me down, you are the question, and the answer am I. Only you can see me through. I leave it up to you to allow.
Last fall, after a bout with drugs, bankruptcy, and a broken heart, Andy Gibb started to turn himself around with the help of his brothers and was an optimistic and happy young man.
So all my problems are behind me. I'm about to sign my new record deal, which I can do now with no pressure. And everybody seems to think that, I'm really suffering through all the headlines. It's great for me. It's the last I can get on with my career at last.
I want you laying in the love I have to bring. I'd do anything to be
Andy Gibb, just 30 years old at the time of his death.
Which was March 10th, 1988. You guys in the chat, I love you. You're so much faster than I am so many times. I didn't even realize I read the words prodigious cocaine habit that derailed his career. Yeah, it took a real nosedive. I mean, his career mirrors that of... Okay, we'll stop. March 10th, 2000. The NASDAQ Composite Stock Market Index peaks at 5,132.52. That's the peak, signaling the beginning of the end of the dot-com boom. Now, we also like to highlight some of the stories we published in the past to MediaMonarchy.com. Again, kind of been doing this for a while. We've been online as Media Monarchy since September 11th, 2005. And that was actually just a few short weeks before I moved out west here to Portland, Oregon. And I did it through the waning years of the Bush administrations, and I did it all through the Obama administration. So I feel like the stories that we've put on just tell the story, to put it quite redundantly. So the days don't exactly match up, because as you may recall, I noted yesterday, we posted the 17th episode of Media Monarchy, which means that would have been a Friday, as we always did our shows on Friday. Which means here now on a Friday, these stories were published March 11th and March 12th, 2007 to MediaMonarchy.com. So we're doing a little bit of weekend cleanup. Published March 12th, 2007 to MediaMonarchy.com, Halliburton's suspicious Dubai move. Halliburton Corporation, currently the largest military contractor in Iraq with billions of dollars in Pentagon contracts, announced that it was planning to move its CEO and corporate headquarters from Houston to Dubai, the United Arab Emirates. Also published to MediaMonarchy.com, March 12th, 2007, Gordon Brown, likely to be the next prime minister, will deliver a speech calling for a new world order to combat global warming. That from the French agency Press. Now published to MediaMonarchy.com, March 11th, 2007. Federal officials secretly schemed to limit payouts for sick and dying nuclear weapons workers, including thousands from the Rocky Flats plant outside Denver, newly released documents show. Feds tried to cut aid for dying weapons workers, and published March 11th, 2007, GlobalSecurity.org, a Virginia-based think tank, celebrates Emmanuel Goldstein's 50th birthday. They note he was either born March 10th or July 30th of 1957 in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. The FBI just says he was born in 1957. Wikipedia does say March 10th, 1957. So Osama bin Laden, not the least interesting in our batch of birthdays on this day, March 10th. Cornet player, pianist, composer, foundational figure in jazz, Bix Beiderbecke, born on this day, 1903, as was Claire Booth Luce, American playwright, journalist, and diplomat. And, of course, connected to the loose, CIA-connected media industrial complex family. That's right. You know who else's birthday it is today? James Earl Ray. Poor bastard pled guilty to assassinating MLK on his birthday. Also celebrating birthdays today, March 10th, Ralph Emery. This is your life. It's also Sepp Blatter's birthday, of FIFA fail fame, Chuck Norris. David Rabe, playwright. I believe he wrote Streamers about the Vietnam War. That was always a popular one that people did sides from back in the theater days. Paul Haggis, famed director of Crash and Scientology defector. It's also my favorite dude from the Jayhawks, Gary Loris, who got his autograph on Hollywood Town Hall when the Jayhawks were in town a couple months ago. And yes, it is Osama bin Laden's birthday. Allegedly, he died in 2011, they say. It's also Sharon Stone's birthday, Jasmine Guy's birthday, Jeff Ament, Rick Rubin, Nina Cherry, Edie Brickell, John Hamm, Timbaland, Carrie Underwood, and Olivia Wilde. Hey, guess what? None of those musical folks will weasel their way into our daily DJ set at noon because it's a new Music Friday. It's going to be awesome. Join me here in about 2 hours for Pump Up the Volume. You get an hour of news in the morning, an hour of music in the afternoon, and perhaps to tease that a little bit, we go out with Always Sad from the Jesus and Mary Chain on their upcoming record, Damage and Joy, set to drop on March 24th, their first record in 18 years. I'm pretty stoked about it. I'm also pretty stoked that you're here and we're doing this. I appreciate it. I can only do it with your support at MediaMonarchy.com/support. There it is, a jam-packed Friday Media Memes edition of your Morning Monarchy for March 10th, 2017. Hey, guess what? I'm James Evan Pilato from MediaMonarchy.com, thanking you so much for listening and reminding you, as always, my friends, don't hate the media, become the media. Take care.
You're listening to Media Monarchy with James Evan Pilato. Since 2005, Media Monarchy has covered the real news about politics, health, technology and the occult, all remixed with music and media that matters. Go to MediaMonarchy.com/support and become a monthly subscriber so you can help keep independent, non-commercial, alternative media going and growing. Thanks.